Good morning. This is Kathleen Clough, the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Wednesday, August 27th, 2025. Looking ahead to the next 3 days, we expect heavy precipitation today through the evening, which will carry a flash flood risk across Idaho and a large portion of Nevada. The chance for precipitation will persist through Friday, but will decrease in coverage and transition to more scattered thunderstorms instead of widespread rain, bringing the chance for some higher IA through Friday across Nevada and Utah from lightning. Dry air will slowly return to the basin and settle in place by the weekend. Here you can see those current flash flood watches and warnings with a higher risk up in Idaho, but still we see those portions of Nevada under that flash flood watch as well for today. Radar estimates from the past 24 hours show trace amounts of precip up to 1/4 of an inch across most of the basin, with heavier pockets of up to 1 inch in dark blue. Areas of heaviest precip were seen across the Nevada-Utah-Idaho border, where they received up to 2 inches of rain, according to radar estimates. And you can see all the lightning that came from this precip yesterday, lightning across much of the basin and that cloud cover as well. Great Basin had 8 new starts for a total of 10.5 acres and a large fire growth of 2,284 acres. For our observed precip for the past 3 days, you can see those heavier pockets of rain across Nevada and Utah. This isn't quite reflecting the precip we got last night yet. That'll come tomorrow, but you can see those pockets of 1/2 inch to 1 inch in green there across much of the basin, and at least about 1/10 of an inch across the rest of the basin. For the past 30 days, percent of normal wise, things are improving and looking better overall, but you can see we're still below normal for most of the basin. Starting to get some brighter pockets in Utah where we're covering a little bit, but for the most part, still in those yellows and oranges. ERC values continue to trend down with recent heavier precipitation, and most of the basin is below that 50th percentile. Higher ERC values are still seen in northern central Idaho and northern western Wyoming between the 70th and 90th percentile, but are also trending down from all this recent precipitation. Satellite from this morning shows some lingering clouds and rain across most of the basin, and this is a snapshot of radar this morning at 8 a.m. showing that precip still kind of lingering in parts of Nevada and a larger portion of Idaho. Smoke impacts today include some heavier impacts from fires burning in Oregon, across Nevada, and western central Idaho as that smoke swirls around the basin. Tomorrow, this smoke impact will increase in coverage and more heavily impact western and southern central Idaho, as well as eastern Nevada and northern and western Utah. Today, we expect to see some heavier precipitation across the basin, especially in central Idaho and Nevada, where we talked about those flash flood potentials. And you can see all of the basin is in that little or no risk due to all this precipitation that we've been receiving. For our afternoon wind gust concern, not a huge concern. You can see some kind of storm outflows in the purple here, maybe some stronger west-northwest winds today, which could impact the cottonwood fire, but overall not a huge wind impact. And you can see that forecast precipitation for today, those purple values of up to almost 2 inches across parts of central Idaho, and some scattered rain across most of the basin there. Max temperatures today are definitely on the cooler side. You can see high 60s, low 70s across Idaho are getting a lot of that rain, and then mid 70s to low 80s across the rest of the basin there. And then, of course, our triple digits down near Vegas. RH wise, we're looking pretty good today, 30% across central Nevada. Obviously, way higher RH. We're expecting all that rain. You can see the 73 and 76 across central Idaho. And then in Utah, we're in the 40s and 50s for our min RH. So lots of RH recovery going on. For our flash flood risk, which we talked about earlier, you can see that higher area in yellow here up across central Idaho, where we're going to have the highest risk for flash flooding. And you can see that heavier pocket of rain there in the blue across central Idaho up to potentially an inch of rain across those areas into western Wyoming as well. But overall, most of the basin receiving at least 1/10 of an inch from all of this. On Thursday, tomorrow, we're still in the little to no risk category following all this precip with a continued chance for some more scattered precipitation tomorrow. Today is going to be our big day through the evening, but we'll still see some scattered things through the morning tomorrow and the rest of the day. No wind concerns really tomorrow. You can see some gustier outflows, these little areas of pink interspersed in the gray. And you can see maybe some heavier winds up in eastern central Idaho and western Wyoming, but overall, not too much of a concern there. Forecast precip wise, you can see we're going to get less precip than we did today, but still the potential for some couple tenths of an inch across Nevada, Utah, and central Idaho, with some heavier chances across western Wyoming tomorrow. For maximum temperatures tomorrow, we'll start to warm up as this precipitation exits the basin. You can see some more values in the 80s across Utah, warming up into the high 70s across central Idaho. Min-RH wise, these are a little bit lower as well. You can see down from, I believe we're in the 70s. Wednesday, we'll be back down into the 30s and 40s across central Idaho and starting to dry out already across Nevada as well. You can see those values in the high teens to low 20s. And then still in the mid 30s to mid 40s across Utah, but overall a little bit drier on Thursday. We're still expecting to see some rain potential on Thursday, with the heaviest chance in western Wyoming and that eastern portion of central Idaho, but maybe up to a tenth across a large portion of the basin there. And cloud cover tomorrow as well, a little bit higher. This is at 3 p.m. You can see a 80% cloud cover across Nevada. So we'll still see some lingering cloud cover and higher RHs tomorrow. On Friday, we're still in that little to no risk across the entire basin, with that potential for some continued scattered precip. We do see that dry air starting to return there in the tan colors, so we will start to dry out, but overall we'll still have that chance for spotty precip on Friday. Not much of a wind concern Friday. Again, those little spotty outflows as that rain potential transitions to just the occasional thunderstorm. And you can see maybe some heavier winds in the green. But again, not heavy, maybe 15 to 20 miles per hour across central Idaho. Forecast precipitation much lighter on Friday. You can see really those scattered pockets of precip, maybe up to a tenth of an inch in some areas, with still some higher precip chances across western Wyoming as well as northwestern Utah, but overall much drier on Friday, and still got that lightning risk as well with those thunderstorms. Max temperatures on Friday will continue to warm up in the 80s across most of the basin, low 80s in central Idaho, and then getting into the high 80s across a lot of Nevada. RH-wise, still continuing to trend down in the 20s across most of Nevada, and then trending down into the high 20s, low 30s in Utah, and down into the low to mid 30s in Idaho. So overall, starting to warm up and dry out slowly but surely. And you can see that precip chance across Friday much lower and much more scattered. So maybe a hundredth to a tenth of an inch across some larger portions, but again, not as good coverage. Cloud cover is going to be less on Friday as well. You can see maybe some 50% cloud cover across some portions of the basin, but overall warmer and drier. Over the next 3 days, you can see all of the precipitation we're expecting, with at least about a tenth of an inch across most of the basin. But again, that heavier pocket of rains up in central Idaho and western Wyoming, especially in the purple, there may be up to 2 inches. On Saturday, we'll continue that kind of warming, drying trend. Not a lot of rain potential. As you can see, some zones have moved into that low risk category as things continue to dry out. Similar story for Sunday. That dry air kind of sits in place and we're starting to dry out overall, so we'll see more portions of the basin turn into that low risk category. And on Monday, again, slowly continuing to dry out. So we'll see a lot more yellow on the map as things continue to dry. Maybe a little precip chance in Utah, but overall still low risk. And then on Tuesday, similar story, we'll see a few more areas go into yellow as that dry air kind of sits, and maybe the potential for some scattered spotty things on Tuesday. For our 7-day precip total, this doesn't look too different from our 3-day. Most of our precip is coming today through the next couple days. And you can see again that good coverage of a hundredth to a tenth of an inch across most of the basin. And again, those heavier pockets in blue and purple up in central Idaho and western Wyoming. For our 8 to 14-day outlook, temperature-wise, most of the basin is going to be a little bit above normal, with a heavier pocket of higher chances for above across western Idaho and northwestern Nevada. Precipitation outlook-wise, we are above normal for most of the basin and then near normal for a small portion of Nevada, but overall above normal. That concludes today's fire potential briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.